Okay, Paul here, and today on the bench we have a Westinghouse 16-inch fans, 324, I forget. The style is a 321 347, and it came in with a loose cage. It was shipped in, and some tape that was put on here, which we'll take off before I even try to plug it in. The customer reported that it was restored not too long back. Well, probably rewired, judging by the look of it. Maybe even painted, I don't know. Restored, and then it started running really slow, which of course is not good. So we need to find out why it's running really slow. Hoping it's something simple, like a bad wire in the switch or something like that. I'm not sure why this got all loose. I mean, every one of these nuts on this frame here got loose in shipping, I guess, because this is the way it was when I got it out of the box. So, yeah, these nuts are loose here. You see how loose that is. So we're going to tighten that up for now. Of course, I'll be taking it off to get inside, but I don't want it rattling and hitting the blade or anything. It's possible that they were put loose so that intentionally during shipping. I don't know, but I think it's strange that they were loose. So we're going to snug them up just a little, and then we'll plug it in and test it. Looks like the fan hasn't been used for a little while. It's got quite a bit of dust on it, and cat or dog hair, don't know, probably dog. But we'll clean it up, make it look nice before we send it back. Okay, that should have taken care of that, and that's better. Let's see what happens. We're going to plug it in and make sure it's shut off. Okay, it's off. I'm going to plug it in, and I'll bring it up slowly on my current limiting light bulb and variac. So let's put it on high, on first speed, whatever that is, and let's see what we get. Okay, I'm at 56 volts. It's drawing 15 watts at this point. Okay, well, it's turning. The voltage dropped to 52. Of course, you see my light's glowing there. That's not a good sign, but let's bring the voltage up and see what we can find out here. Alright, so we got a problem because I'm on about 105 volts and it's showing 71. And yeah, it's sure turning slow. Let's shut it down. Take the bottom off it, and we'll see what we can find out from there. So I'm going to stop the video temporarily while I rearrange everything here. Okay, I got the bottom off, and they did a pretty good job of rewiring it. Everything looks fine. This is a little speed coil. It's a little loose, but that may be okay. And it's kind of strange that that's loose. I did see this came out with laying in the bottom of the pan, and that's part of that insulator there. So I don't know if that's now shorting out, because see, this metal plate, I believe, is part of the ground. We're going to check that out first before we go any further. So we'll do that with this plug here and the meter. Turn the meter on. Okay, and then set it up for continuity here. Okay, Now let's see what we can find out with this plug. Let me get the cord situated where we can work with it and I can hold the camera. Okay. Put that one on there. Okay. Okay, so these are doing okay. That's the switch. Okay. So that side is the ground. Well, it is grounded, I should say. This is not a grounded plug. Okay. Let's see what we got going up into the head here, if I can get in there. 18.7. Okay, and that's the switch side here. So, we can get that in there. It's not in there. Okay, that's the opposite side of the line cord then. Okay. So, I'm going to get that off that noisy setting. Put it here that way. Okay, 23.1 ohms on that screw. 22, 20. Okay, so that's low, medium, high. 23, 22.5, 20.6. I need to do this a couple times because there's so much oxidation on these brass screws, so I want to make sure I get the right numbers. Okay, so the speed coil, this part of the speed coil is doing fine. Of course, the AC line, we got nothing on the high. We got, get my hand out of the way, you'll be able to see it. And we got a wire in the way. Hold on. Let me pause you a second. Okay, I went ahead and connected some clips so I don't have to hold wires. A lot of light reflection in here. Okay, if I go to high, which I'm assuming that's high, 23.4 ohms across the line cord. Next one, 22.6 and 20. So the speed control seems to be okay. And the problem is up in the motor itself. So I'm going to have to disassemble the motor and check the armature. Yeah, problem's definitely up in the top of the motor. So I'm going to have to take the motor apart to figure out what's going on up there. Whoever restored it did a good job of they painted the inside and the base. And, it seems pretty neat. Seems like a neat job. And the speed control seems fine. So I'll continue the video when I get it all torn apart. This is just sort of introduction at this point. I need to take it apart and go from there and see exactly what's going on up in the top of the motor. So we do know there is an issue, and we're going to go from there. Okay, I'm still working on this fan, and I found a couple issues. One is no oil in the oiler, very little. Two, this wick was sticking out of the spring that far, with the black section of it here was sticking out. That's way too much. And I was pushing on the armature, and the end of the spring is bent. So I don't know if it was rubbing on the armature or not. It doesn't look worn, so probably not. Most likely it was bent when the wick was put in. But this wick is no good. You can see how nice and soft it is here. See, I can flatten it easy and oil comes out of it. This is the part that was down in the oil well. It's in good shape. This side here, hot as a rock. This black side. So it got hot. Wasn't providing enough oil on the armature. Pushing on the armature way too hard because it was sticking way out of the spring. And that was making it get hotter and hotter. So I'm going to put a new wick in the spring. It should only stick out no more than about that much max. Doesn't need to stick out much. It just needs to be enough pressure to put oil on the armature. So I got some replacement wick here, and I'm going to cut a piece, and we're going to put it in there. Refill I already cleaned the oil well out. Well, I'm going to clean this out, but I cleaned the bottom out, and I'm going to put a nice new clean wick in there and try to adjust that spring a little. It should be fine. But so that's what I'm working on now. Okay, there's the spring with the new wick in it, and in good shape. And that's all you need. You don't need a whole lot sticking out. Spring's still bent, but I think it'll be okay because the wick will keep the spring away from the armature. If there's ever a lot of noise on this fan, the customer's going to have to unscrew the cap and screw that wick in a little more. You just turn it counterclockwise, and as you push gently from the bottom, and it'll go up even further. But that should be fine. That'll last a whole long time. This one just got, see how small it is at the top versus the bottom. It's just and it's hard. It got really hot rubbing against that armature, and that was partly what was slowing it down and driving the wattage up. The rest of the issue is it needs to be cleaned. So I'm going to have to take the front off and take the prop off, take the front off, and clean it out. It's turning, but you see how fast it stops? And that could be normal, but either way, to make sure there's nothing else in there causing a problem, I'm going to go ahead and clean it. And I'll check the grease level in the back and make sure there's plenty of grease in there too. So that's what I'm working on. Okay, surprisingly, the inside is pretty clean. That's a good thing. A little bit of grease leaked there, but that's nothing. So there's a little bit of stuff in the back of the stator there. I'll get that out, but all in all, it looks pretty clean. So that's a good thing. And the wires are fine. The stator wires look good. Head wires look okay from what I can see, but I ain't going to be pulling the stator. There's no sense. So, because it wasn't long ago it was redone, I'm just going to go ahead and clean it up, fix that grease leak, and put the armature back in. I'll try to clean some of the armature a little bit here. And the front plate is fine, so we're in good shape. Okay, I got this fan running fine. I'm on low, on oscillate, drawing 50 watts. Fan's rated for 89 watts on high. If I put it up as medium, fine. Drawing 60 watts, 9 watts on high. Again, And so it's actually running cooler than 89 watts, which is good. It's running cooler. It's messing my dungeon here, but throwing out a lot of wind. You can hear that wind. Now there was a tick 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 sound. I'll get rid of that and I'll show you what I did. While it's over there, if I pull this up, it'll stop oscillating. Push it down, it goes back to oscillating. So I redid the grease, put a new wig, and oil, of course. Cleaned the back out, put more grease in, put some more oil, cleaned out the old oil, cleaned out the oil cup, took the armature out, cleaned the inside of the case. Okay, now, couple things. I'm going to shut my power off here. That tick, 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 tick noise that it was making is this little bullnose cap. It's really loose, and so it was rattling. What I did, you can't pop them off because they'll break. They're just too old, and the end on the side and the back can just pop off and break. Now, it might come off, it might not, and I didn't want to have to glue it back on or epoxy it on. So what I did is I just pulled it out just enough to stop it from vibrating. If the vibration was not a problem, and you didn't care about the tick, 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 and the owner didn't care about it, all the owner have to do is just push it lightly, it'll pop right back in, and it'll go back to making noise. But since that's behind the Westinghouse plate on the grill, you can't see it anyway, so it's better just be there and not make the noise. And you see, it turns really good. I'm not hardly even turning it. You see, if I give it a good spin, not even a good spin, that's just, so we're in good shape. I wiped the blades down a little bit with just some stuff to get the dust off them. I didn't use anything abrasive, so there's still some little dust, little spots and stuff, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time cleaning the blades. The leading edge, there's still a little bit of dog here. I didn't get it all out of there. I tried to. But the leading edge of the blades, which is this end here, the end that cuts, actually it's not the leading edge, I'm sorry, the back edge, and the beginning of the top end of the leading edge to the curve, and the back edge especially, is where dirt builds up the most. From time to time, if you want this fan, if the owner wants this fan to keep running smoothly, I'm going to let him know, take the grill off and just clean this. Since it's the plastic blades, so all I used was Windex, which, because I didn't want to take the paint off or anything. This area here, where the paint is thin, is from the cutting edge of the blade, and that's where it picks up all the dust and dirt. And so when you clean it, of course, the dust and dirt beats the paint off, and then when you clean it, it takes the paint off with it. So I didn't do any major cleaning. I just wiped it, just gently wiped them, just enough to get the dust off. But that would help. You can lightly oil them, but that which makes the blade run better through the air, but in the long run it causes more problem than good, because it'll make them look nice, but it'll actually pick up more dust. I noticed this one has a lot of these little specks, in the blade. Some of them come off with my fingernail. You notice I don't cut my fingernails because I use them in electronics. I need to cut them, though, they're getting a little bit long. But you see how that takes them right off, some of them. So, say they come right off. And I'm not going to spend time doing that, but I just wanted to show that, those things, whatever they are, they're picked up from being used. Some of them are into the paint and it won't come off. I don't know what it is, but something it picked up. But And I cleaned the inside of the motor. Now I'm going to clean the housing a little bit and the line cord, and get some of this off of here before I pack it back up. But it's ready to go back to the owner. So anyway, that's this cool Westinghouse fan, model 321347, getting ready to get shipped back. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I appreciate that. And thank you, and have a good day.